the contract could not have avoided the situation. Now come to the Contract Act. Let me go directly to the Contract Act, and we see there is a provision called Section 56 of the Contract Act 1872. Contract Act, it is one of the legislations, statutory this thing which has not been amended for long. Section 56 mattum solla, whole of the Contract Act or the Transfer of Property Act, Limitation Act, certain acts like Sale of Goods Act, it has not changed at all. It has not seen any of the amendments that we see in Companies Act, FEMA and various other corporate laws. Because in economic laws, experimentation is allowed. Countries will be always tampering with the economic laws to meet the developments, situations which could not be contemplated. Section 56 of the Contract Act can be divided into three parts. Let us listen from Manjula, first part of Section 56. Suma, to put her into difficulty. I think she is not able to listen.
She will say Lex non cogit impossible.
Okay, first point on the any agreement to do an impossible act is void ab initio. Section 56 part 1, whoever wants to note it down. An agreement to do an impossible act is void ab initio. That means if parties knowingly enter into a contract agreeing to do something which is totally impossible. Impossible means not by reason of physical impossibility. Understand this point. It may be physical impossibility, but the point we are talking about is unlawful. An agreement to do an impossible act means it may be impossible due to legal obstacles also. An agreement to do an impossible act is void ab initio. Is this understood? This is contract, the Contract Act, Section 56, first part. Now then you remember a situation like this. Second one, where a person to a contract knows that it is not possible for him to perform. The promisor knows, I am going to slightly legal language, a party to the contract knows that he is not going to perform it. It is impossible for him to do that. The promisor knows what he is promising cannot be performed. So this is another impossibility. He knows and enters into contract with another party. The other party doesn't know that the promisor is doing like that. Please see the beauty of the provision. One person knows, he enters into knowingly a contract to perform something which he knows at the time of entering into the contract itself that it is not possible for him. Remember beautifully the second part of the Contract Act. Impossibility is known to him. Then you have the other contract. For example, a contract is entered into. Both the parties had good intention. They want to honor the terms of the contract. A subsequent supervening circumstance makes it difficult for them to perform. Are you getting all the three class situations? Therefore, Section 56 is always regarded as a rule of law. Unlike the general doctrine of frustration, where common law can allow you to imagine many things, here we have three parts. An agreement to do an impossible act is void ab initio. A person, promiser, knows that he will not be able to perform, but yet he enters into a contractual obligation, and the promisee doesn't know that this is how he is entering into. He creates a frustration. Third one is both the parties honestly, genuinely believe things will happen. Unfortunately, a subsequent supervening circumstance comes into the play and an impossibility gets generated. Okay? So these are all the, for example, during the lockdown, we believe that the lockdown will be lifted for 14th April. So after 14th April, my company is going to function. I will produce goods in 3 weeks and supply you so many quantities of so and so. The lockdown gets extended. You are unable to move out. You are unable to put your working machines to work. Employees are not there, workers are not there. Therefore, a supervening circumstance which was not in the contemplation of parties has now come back and stopped you from performing the contract. The section 56 will apply. Is it understood? Let me quote some of the examples of the the English law. In one of the cases in 1863, the Taylor versus Caldwell case, 1863, a music hall was supposed to be hired and that got burnt. So when the subject matter or the thing on which you have to work is gone, a music hall which is supposed to be the place for this, it is gone, it is got burnt. இது நம்ம வந்து when we discuss about fundamentals of contract law, we used to study this case, and a music hall was a subject matter and that has got burnt. There is no question of expecting somebody to perform. Is it a very, very interesting, very simple example for non-legal professionals also to understand the situations that can cause, and that was not expected by anybody. Both the parties to the contract would not have expected that this will happen. So this is a music hall case. Is an excellent example of part 3 of the this thing. So supervening circumstances could be destruction of the subject matter. And then I'll go to 1903. Is a very interesting case where a coronation, that is called what we call as the king is getting coronation ceremony, that was expected to be happening on certain dates. I note the date. It is 26 and 27 June 1902. This case is a very popular case called Krell versus Henry. 1903 case. 26th and 27th June of 1902, there was a coronation ceremony and a person wants to attend, view it from a very particular viewpoint in a particular hotel or a room. He wants to be in the balcony. He is booking it from morning to evening. He doesn't want it in the night. Again for the next day also morning to evening. He wants to get a vantage point and view. He pays 75 pounds. He pays 25. The 50 is not paid. That was the case, and it was lost in 2-3 circuits. But ultimately in the Queen's Bench, he is able to prove that there is a doctrine of frustration because the coronation ceremony was cancelled. It did not happen. Nobody contemplated it. The main purpose of booking itself is to witness the coronation. For example, Tiruchur Puram edukonga. It is cancelled. Tiruchur Puram time, what will be the kind of rush you will have? All the hotels will be booked. Many hotels will show in the top of the floor. There will be a big gathering. They will be watching the procession and all. So such type of things may happen. It may get cancelled. So this is another interesting case. There was one more case of painter. A painter undertakes to paint, but on the day of his commencement of work, the painter becomes blind. Act of God. An act of God. The illustrations, very interesting illustrations I am giving you from the earlier cases. Then you have another case called a pianist. A pianist supposed to perform is a personal performance obligation. For example, a dancer. For example, a singer. For example, a musician, a composer. So whenever a person personally commits himself to perform in a concert, in a movie, in a play, in a program, and he becomes sick, it is impossible for him to perform. And nobody would have expected that he will become sick in the normal course if everything is all right. There may be some standby arrangements. For example, nowadays in a program, we don't fix only one speaker. We fix 2 speakers and give the time divided between them. Suppose one speaker is becoming sick or he is unable to come on some other for some other grounds, the other person will manage. For example, in Ooty residential program, do you remember in one ICSA program, 3 speakers did not turn up. So all the 4 sessions I had to take. It was one interesting situation. I don't know what will be the plight of the delegates. All the 4 sessions, of course, different topics. Vidya Shankar did not turn up, Ishwar did not turn up, and one more person, it was really a very difficulty was there. Therefore, Ramasubramania Raja, I asked him to speak on my behalf. One presentation I gave him. That was on the mergers and acquisitions. So you can understand what would have been the outcome of that session. Now, the situations of this nature can happen. Let me tell you about one case of this eucalyptus case. The eucalyptus case வந்து என்னன்னா, it was a case of Andavar and Company in 1991. A contract was entered into by a company, Andavar and Co, for the purpose of cutting eucalyptus and supplying it. Now, the contract could not be performed because there was no license to get this eucalyptus done. So therefore, at the time of the entering into the contract itself, he was aware that he cannot do it. So that is coming under again the section 56 only. He cannot escape from his obligation when he was aware that the promisor was aware that he is not going to perform it. So this is a matter of evidence.